Hey, Dawn Joseph here with Simply Core Fit. So I am a kinesiologist and core specialist here in Kelowna, BC. And Mel has reached out to me and asked me to do a quick little routine for you that you can basically do either throughout your pregnancy, so any trimester, you can modify some of these, as well as we're gonna hit the floor after and talk about actual true core training. So this will really benefit you if you're at the really early stages, learning how to connect to your core, and then coming out of that pregnancy and post. So even if you've already had your baby, connecting to those deep core muscles. So if you have a band, grab one. If you don't, you can pretty much just skip or modify the middle exercises I'm gonna do. So we'll get to those. And I'm gonna use the ball, but you can use a chair to sit on. So a chair and a band, if you can grab those for me, and then get started. We're gonna start on the mat and we're gonna start standing up. So we're gonna work with some balance stuff first. So come on over to your feet. I'm gonna leave this band and the ball to the side. So standing on your feet, we're gonna gently draw that tummy in. So you never wanna be bracing. It's just like pulling that pelvic floor in as if everything was gonna fall out of you and you're just holding it in. That's where we wanna start. So we're gonna give it some squats, driving through those heels, gentle squeeze with those shoulder blades. So I'm sitting my bum back nice and far, and I'm not straightening my arms and pulling them back. Slight bend in those elbows, so I'm just gently drawing those shoulder blades together. So you're gonna keep your head nice and neutral. Shouldn't be pulling your neck forward. You're pushing through those heels, so you're feeling those glutes work for you. We're gonna talk lots about the glutes and the function in the core today. All right, let's do two more of those. So you can see forward, obviously, the whole time. I'm just showing you some different angles. All right, and relax. We're gonna go feet nice and wide and a nice, easy, gentle lunge. So make sure those toes are in a nice straight line. Nice and easy, side to side. And if you're feeling it, drop one shoulder. Good, nice and easy. Just dropping the shoulder. If you want to up it a little bit, take a nice little reach, nice little stretch up to our sides. We tend to work front and back. We forget about our sides a lot of the time, so nice stretch through those lats. That'll really help with the posture stuff and not having so much neck pain. All right, we're gonna drop it over to one side and hold. You can drop that shoulder down. So level 1 or level 3 really, the hardest one will be straight arm. You can bend that arm and just rotate around that elbow. Or if it's too much, keep that hand on the thigh and just hold from there. So nice stretch for that inner thigh. We're gonna drop to the other side, drop that shoulder. If you wanna take it into that big stretch, open stretch or shoulder down, looking out over that elbow, gently pulling that shoulder blade towards your spine, or again, up onto that knee. So again, good little stretch to that inner thigh, still being aware that that tummy's in. All right. We're gonna go into some squats. So if you have a belly right now, a wider stance is gonna be much more comfortable, so up to you. We're just gonna take it down and squeeze your bum as you come up. So really squeeze that bum, keeping the tummy in. So I'm gonna turn sideways, you stay forward. Nice little squeeze. So what we don't want is a big arch. You're only lifting that leg as high as you can keep the tummy in, and it's just the glutes engaging. Good. So nice and slow squeeze. Good. All right, we're gonna stick to this side. So this leg lifting only, squat and squeeze. We're gonna do 10 of those. This is 3. Good, weights in your heels. Yes. So tummy in, we're gonna do 5 more of those. Trying to stay nice and straight and not fall over. If you feel like you need a wall, absolutely, or chair, hang on to it. Good. Standing right there, we're gonna lift. Good, so try and flex that foot. So you're pushing with your heel. Good, tummy in. Again, use the wall or bring the toe back down. So high level, yeah. Stand up on that one leg, but if you're not used to standing on one leg, absolutely use the wall. You're way better to use the wall and not fall over so much. All right, good. Let's try that other side. So we're gonna squat, squeeze first of those, 10 of those. First with 10 of those. Let's try that sentence again. Good, abs are in. Breathing the whole time. So we should be aware of that bum. All right, we're gonna squat and gently lift. Good, flex the foot so the toes pulling towards your knee. You're still sitting your bum back behind you, so your knees stay behind your toes. Yeah, we're gonna do 5 more of those. Pushing through that heel each time, relax those toes. 2 more. Awesome, on this side, little lift and lower. So the reason that I'm giving you this standing exercise is that once you have a baby or babies, the chances of you lying down and having a floor workout tend to go down exponentially that time. So I want you to have exercises you could hold your baby while you're doing these. They think it's kind of fun to go up and down and squat. And little toddlers will love to copy this kind of motion. All right, shake it out. We're gonna turn sideways. So here's where if you have a wall or a chair, you may need it. We're gonna go back to the side we started on, sitting back like you got hit in the hips with a big metal bar. So that bum's way back. We're gonna lift up that other foot and we're gonna try a little push out. So this is high level. If it's enough to just tap back, then there you go. So if you are already doing exercises that are quite advanced, listen to your body. So if you get nothing out of this workout, we're gonna do 4 more of these, by the way. 4, tummy in. 3, and then I'll make my point. 2 should be burning. 1, shake it out. Let's try that other side. So you get nothing out of this workout. The thing I want you to hear is that you don't need to necessarily take up new activities like, hey, I'm gonna be a pro tennis player now that I'm pregnant, is that you should be able to keep going with the activities as long as you listen to your body. Hear the words out of my mouth. Listen to your body. If it doesn't feel right, chances are it's not right. So we're all different. We're gonna take 5 more of those. You're still breathing on me, right? 4, weights in your heel, don't grip those toes. 3, whoo, 2, and 1. Shake it. All right, little bit of balance here. We are all different and we're all, as I talk about balance, don't follow me, stay upright. All right, let's put your foot beside your knee. Standing up nice and tall again. Use your wall here if you need to. We're gonna work a little bit of arms. So we're going palms up, little circles backwards, no shrug. If you can, you're gonna extend that foot and back in. Good, nice work. So again, kids love this stuff. So nice and slow, you can do them with your little ones. If you've got some toddlers running around, let's do 4 more. Should start to feel those arms. 3, weights in the heel of that support foot. And 1, good. You can also keep it on the floor. We're gonna pull straight back gently. So little retraction, good. If you wanna make it harder, leave the foot up by the knee or keep it on the knee. And if you wanna make it much harder, extend. We're gonna do 5 more of those. Good, little, nice and controlled. That's it, keep your tummy in and shake it out. Should have felt a little bit in those arms there. All right, let's try that other side. So reset, and here's where the one-legged stuff is really, really, really important. We're gonna go palms up again, little circles. So if you are looking at getting into jogging, if you jog all through your pregnancy and you feel great, fantastic, making sure that you have that glute strength is really key. So just standing on the one leg like this, really making those glutes work for you. And we're gonna talk about it a little bit more when we hit the floor in a second. Good. Let's take 5 more of those. Little circles, keep circling those arms. Come on, push through it. 3, woo! 2, I don't want it up in your neck at all. If it is, give it a little break. All right, last squeezes. 10, 9, so wherever you need to keep that foot. 8, 7. So again, if you're falling over all the time, you won't get anything out of the exercise. Use a wall or a chair. 2 more. They're small, gentle little exercises. And shake it out. All right, we're gonna grab that band and we're gonna grab your ball. So here's some upper body. I'm just gonna give you one exercise for each little body part. So we're gonna start by putting the band over the toes and bringing it up and around inside the feet. So I went over the toes and up and inside the inside of my feet. All right, this is gonna be a straight arm pull, so I'm going to face sideways. You're gonna set your shoulders and pull straight back. So we're gonna start, knees slightly bent, and you're gonna push straight back. It's really small, so my band's too hard for me to really push far, and you don't want to push so far that your shoulders roll forward anyway. So I'm pulling my shoulder blades together gently. Good, just slightly pushing back. You want to keep your ears over your shoulders, in line with your shoulders, not letting that head jet forward. Good, and if it's too hard with the band wrapped around both feet, just do the band wrapped around one foot. So take it off one foot or bring your feet in a little bit. You can change how that band's sitting. We're gonna do 4 more of those, sitting up nice and tall. So notice I haven't let it swing forward. I haven't lost the tension in that band. 2 more. All right, let's work on the gun show. So elbows up, right up, into those bicep curls. Good, so we're gonna lift the elbows up. Keep that head up nice and tall. Yes. 5, 6, good. 7, we're gonna aim for 15, 8. If it gets too hard, take one arm at a time. Good, we've got 5 more, here we go. And I'm still holding the tension with that bottom arm. Here we go, 3, shoulders down, tummy in. All right, we're gonna do some rows. So for these ones, it might be a little easy if you keep the handle instead of grabbing a little lower. So if you need to, just grab a little lower. You can hang on to the handle and grab a little lower, and that way the handles don't swing on you. Good, so I've doubled up on my tension here. Thinking about initiating that from my mid-spine. So gently drawing, I still have a little bend in my knees. If you're sitting on your chair, just sit up nice and tall through your spine. And that core, that little, just pulling that pelvic floor on. Just being aware of like a little piece of saran wrap inside your hips, cross your hips. Keeping that nice and tight. Good, your ears stay over your shoulders. All right, you may still feel your triceps in the back of the arms there from the triceps we did earlier. We're gonna take 3 more. 2, and 1. Good, we're gonna unwrap that band slowly. All right, I'm gonna turn and face you for this one. We're gonna do one last one with the band. It's gonna go across your knees. So we're gonna bring your feet together, across your knees on the top. It's gonna wrap around the bottom of your knees. And if you have a looped band, that works as well. You're gonna grab nice and tight, whoops, under your knees, and then pull it up. So once I've pulled it, there's lots of tension, shoulders down, and then I'm gonna step my feet apart. So if that's too much tension, then you adjust as needed. So tummy in, chest up, and we're gonna push those knees apart and come slightly back together. So here we are, we're back into our glutes. You should feel that butt working. Good, both knees push apart, tummy in. Good, always thinking about that posture. So that upper body, especially with breastfeeding or just holding kids, carrying things all day, really drops through the posture. So when you are exercising, great time to reset and really think about where that upper body needs to be. Good, push. Yeah, come on, who's winning? You or the band? We're gonna do 5 more. Better be you. All right, here we go. 4, not letting the band pull you back in. So my knees haven't come together yet, and neither have yours, I'm sure. 2 more. And 1 more. Good, if you really wanna go for it, throw some pulses in there. You don't wanna throw yourself over the edge, so if that's enough, we got 5, 4, 3, they're little ones, 2, 1. Oh, stop the madness. Should definitely be aware of your glutes now. All right, so again, listen to your body in any of those exercises. So if you're thinking, oh, my neck hurts while I'm doing that, it's gonna hurt more later if it's hurting now. There shouldn't be any pain, muscle burn, like, oh, feel those muscles. that's another story. That's muscle appreciation and they're super happy you're working them, but no pain. All right, so you're gonna come down to the floor. So I'm gonna move this video. You have a second to grab some water, whatever you need. You're done with the band, you're done with the ball or the chair. All right, here's the section I'm gonna do on the floor for your core. So really quickly, as for the core, people think, ooh, it's abs and back, which is kind of what core is, but I want you to think of it as having an outer core and an inner core. So your outer core is your rectus abdominis, there's your six pack, obliques come in, and then your lower back around the back. And those really should be your prime movers. Flex, extend, side bend, rotate. They should be moving you, not stabilizing you. So as soon as those get into a stabilization, even if you try and rotate in that flex position versus rotating in that upper tall position, you can really notice a difference. And that rounded position will really wear on your ability to breathe properly and to use your pelvic floor. So underneath that outer core, you have basically your own little inner corset, and that's made up of, and you don't have to remember these muscles, but your transverse abdominis is like your tummy flattening muscles, and it's like a big corset that wraps around, and it comes around to your spine where it attaches with your multifidus. There's a word. So multifidus, there's your corset. Your diaphragm is on top and your pelvic floor is on the bottom, and that cylinder, if it's perfectly pressurized and all those muscles work well, you have a fairly functional core. But if one of those, so let's say your diaphragm, in other words, you tend to use that six pack, or your posture tends to be very forward, it'll really push on that corset, which basically the pressure's got to go somewhere. Typically it's maybe some pelvic floor issues, hernias, just general bad tensions. There's a compensation somewhere. So really, really key to have all those muscles. And if, let's say your transverse is really weak, it's like a pop can that if we dent it, it crushes really easily. So I want you to think of your core like that. And that's why we're going to do these muscles. So they're really small, intentional little exercises, but so much fun. So come on down to the floor. Let's talk about breathing first, because that's the base of everything. One hand on your chest and one hand inside your hips. We're going to do a nice deep breath in, so belly rises and falls. Good. So if you naturally take a breath in and it's that top hand rising instead of the bottom hand, I want you to think of having huge lungs, and you're drawing the air down into your lungs and letting the air go up. So you're filling the balloon. You're not breathing into your stomach. It's all in your lungs, but it is gently pushing down on those internal organs. Everything's opening up and then down. Good. So if you can, in through your nose, let your filter out through your mouth. But as long as you're breathing, I'm super happy. So whatever makes you happy. Open up through that rib cage. So if you put your fingers on your sides, about bra strap level, you should feel that extend into you. And if today you don't feel any of this happening, work on your breathing. Fall asleep at night doing 10 deep breaths in your bed. Just be aware of the breath, and that'll often really help the breathing. So don't get frustrated if anything feels tight. All right, so to set your core, what we're going to do is a deep breath in. Your belly's going to rise. As you exhale, we're gently going to draw down, and think of a piece of saran wrap just gently flattening across the hips as you gently pull your pelvic floor in. And by pelvic floor, I mean like a 15% contraction. So if you felt it right up to your ribs, this is all happening below your belly button. So picture having a bikini bottom on. We're going to stay in that little triangle between your hips and your pelvic pubis. And take a nice deep breath in, belly rises, gently draw down, and it's a real small flattening out as you gently pull in. If you felt your back flatten to the floor, your bum squeeze your rib cage, we're going to back that off. One last breath, deep breath in, gently set. Less is more on this one. And we're going to test how well we set our core. So fingertips right on your hip bones, and you're going to unweight one foot. So instead of lifting, unweight it, no weight in that foot, and let it just levitate off the floor. It doesn't have to lift high. It's the second it leaves the floor, you should feel zero movement. Not like brace and then no movement, nothing. So try the other side. Sometimes we're really good at one side and not so great at the other side. And that's important to know, but we just need to get them both to come around. So if you struggle with that one, if either one side or you're like, come on, lady, something has to move, let's work on this exercise. This will help that. Come on, take a deep breath in. Gently draw down, flatten out. One knee is going to stay right where it was, and the other knee is going to drop slowly to the side. So my knee's not coming over at all, nice and slow, and then it's slowly going to return up to the center. If you need to reset, reset, and then we're going to do the other side. So if you notice that you're holding your breath or bracing or your bum's squeezed or your shoulders are up in your ears, stop and reset. Remember, we're repatterning. So the key in core is to just keep going back to home base and make sure you're running first base, second base, third base. We're trying to get those patterns. If you're already at second because you went from third to second and skipped everything else, then we want to come back to home and be like, oh no, first is an important base to go to. So nice and slow. You should feel a little bit of tension there. It's small. It's not going to burn like 300 crunches are going to burn, but it's important. We're just trying to connect to those deep muscles so that we don't always use those external muscles. All right, last one, down and up. Good, nice and slow. All right, I want you to keep that exact same tension. Fingertips back on your hips. Unweight that foot. Core is about turning everything off. We're going to turn that leg off. Slowly let it levitate. Oh, should be zero movement. Let's try the other side. Reset if you need to. It's a slow set. Take 3 to 5 seconds to set. So you're not setting and bracing. And if you crush that, your level 2 core test is going to be knee up over your hips. Unweight that foot, again, without moving anything, without pushing anything. Back stays the same on the floor, just let it levitate. That should be a little bit harder. That might take a lot of brain space right now. So try that other side into that level 2 core test. If you really struggle with the level 1, then don't even worry about this one yet, but it gives you a goal. All right, nice and slow. This is slowly, slowly, slowly going to levitate. And then back down. So those are great ones to come back to. You've got your bent knee follow. One other exercise you can do, easier on a wood floor than on carpet with shoes on, are heel slides. So one at a time. Picture my foot gliding nice and easily out. I obviously tried this in my socks before I filmed this, and it slid a lot better. So nice and slow. Hips are not moving. So shoulders are nice and relaxed. So if that movement feels better to you, stick with the heel slides instead of the sideways motion. But that same tension, we're just getting limbs to move, and your main focus is keeping that saran wrap on and nice and still without bracing through your pelvis. All right, so bringing it over into the plank. So I love the plank, but if you are bracing in your plank, so in other words, if those last few exercises were really challenging for you, then you want to make sure you're going back to that before you do a plank. This plank, we're going to break it down. It actually keeps you in a perfect plank. We're going to make a little gentle fist, shoulders down, pop your knees up off the floor if you're going right up to a straight-legged plank. So knees come up first, and then you're going to pull your tummy in and lift up into that plank. We're going to hold for 10 seconds only, tucking the chin, lengthening the neck to the ceiling. If that's too much, obviously down to your knees, tuck that bum under and hold from there. And release down. Shoulders down, knees are up, tummy in. Good, lifting up. So as you go along, and you may find, oh, my first pregnancy, I could plank all the way through. My second pregnancy, that didn't happen, and I'm really fighting with it in my second trimester, or my first trimester. Do not get frustrated with your body. Every child is different. Shoulders down. They come out with totally different personalities, so trust me, in there's totally different personalities, and sometimes your body just isn't there. So listen to your body again. You can do these on the elbow of on your elbows on a chair. So on the side of your couch is a great place to do it. All right, so up to you. Let's try 2 more if you can. Shoulders down, tummy in. If you're doing it from your knees, you're just going to lift those hips. That's as far as you go. We don't need to come any higher. We're keeping the hips heavy, and we're drawing your belly button in from there. Good. And we won't talk about my 10-second counting. And relax down. So last one, shoulders down, tummy in, lifting from those hips. So knees up if you did it from your feet. Good. So the goal, let's make a goal of 6 in a row. If you're going to start doing a minute plank, this is a great place to start. But if right now you're doing 2, do 2. Or do 2 from your feet and then 2 from your knees and build up from there. All right, relax down. Let's come over to your back. So last few we're going to put your feet together and let your knees fall apart. So your glutes are the back side of your core. If they don't work, chances are hip flexors will take over for everything and it negates your core. So we're going to find your glutes. Feet are right together. All I want you to do is really gently think of holding a penny between your bum cheeks, or a dime, or a dollar, or a diamond if that's more motivating, and then relax. If you felt your knees pull up or your bum lift, we're going to try and back that off a little bit. So again, we're just barely squeezing, holding a $5 bill, $100 bill between your bum cheeks. Good, and then relax. So nice and slow, gently pulling that on. So we always talk about pelvic floor. You actually have a posterior and an anterior, so front and a back. Front being those P muscles, and relax. And this is like holding a fart, just gently pulling this in. So this is really key in groin and hip injuries, just getting these deep muscles to fire. And then when we go into bridges, so bring those feet up, feet are shoulder width apart, same thing. You're going to draw, squeeze that dime between your bum cheeks, tuck the tailbone under slightly, and lift off the floor. If you need those hands on the floor, go right ahead. We're going to come down, deposit the dime, let it go, squeeze, and lift back up. So again, this is just the repatterning. This is just finding those muscles, going through it slow enough so that when you go and you follow an exercise class or follow videos online, you've already done it really slow and really intentionally so that you know that the pattern, remember we were running the bases first, second, third, you want those patterns to be in the right order so we don't get into compensating. We don't get into like missing out on muscles and then one thing gets really, really tight or really weak. All right, we're gonna do 4 more of these nice and slow. If you'd like to make it a little harder, come down almost to the floor, tuck that tailbone under and lift back up. Good. If you feel it in your thighs, I want you to walk your feet out a little bit. They're just a little too close to you. It should be all in the glutes and the hamstrings. And one more time, lifting up. Good. So you're tucking under and you're holding up. We're going to bring those feet right together. So if you are planning on doing any running, here's what I would say I would recommend starting with this. One heel off the floor. If that already feels like it's going to cramp in the other leg, put it down. If you can get your heel up, the next goal is going to be to hover, and the next goal is going to be to extend. Do not let that hamstring or that glute freak out on you. So being able to work, let's try the other side. So heel first, hover if you can, or just keep the heel up, and then extend. So start with 10-second little holds here. You want to work into this. Don't start with one-legged stuff, but if you are going to go and load in something like running or skating, we want to be able to know that you can work to loading on one leg in a nice supported position like this. So it's a great thing to aim towards. All right, one more time on the other side. Told you this was fun, so much fun. All right, tucking under. This is like snapping turtles or piranhas trying to nibble at your bum, because they nibble. Snapping at your bum, tucking under, lifting it up. Good. All right, final one for some posture work. Fingertips over those elbows. So basically on the floor, my elbows are shoulder height or just slightly down. So all this is, because it will be very hard to see, is thinking of a pencil straight down your spine, and you're gently going to pull those shoulder blades towards your spine. So we haven't cranked back, nothing crazy. So really slowly, we're going to take a count of 3 to pull the shoulder blades in towards the spine. Holding for 5 seconds, fingertips are still to the ceiling, and then relax. If you feel it in your neck or your lats, too much, back it off a little bit. There's the theme. We keep backing things off. Shoulders down, gently pull those shoulder blades. If you feel your upper back arch, you don't need very much movement. So if you're really feeling it, especially your lower back arching off the floor, again, that's a little too much. So we're gonna keep that lower back on the floor Good, nice and slow. So holding for 5 seconds. This is one of my favorite exercises, especially for posture work, not having a sore neck. If you work a lot at a computer, if you're breastfeeding, all of that, great exercise. You're nice and supported, shoulders down, feel them slide. And relax. All right, always roll to your side when you're getting up. Push up with that bottom leg. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope some of those cues really help you. You can take what you need or want at whatever point you're at. Again, the main message is that listen to your body, and your body is very different than anyone else. So even if someone's giving you advice of this is what you should be doing or blah, 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 if it doesn't feel good to you, really listen to your body. I'm so happy that there is a community like this with such solid information and fantastic people. If you have any questions for me, I would be happy for you to reach out to me. So again, my name's Dawn Joseph. It's Simply Core Fit is the company. So you can find me on Facebook or Instagram at Simply Core Fit. I also have a bunch of videos up on YouTube, the Simply Core Fit channel. Love to see you there. I do post little short videos all the time, and it is all core based. So please reach out to me if you have specific questions. Love to hear them. Love to hear your feedback on the class, and I hope to see you again soon.